What's going on, fragrance family? Welcome to another episode of Taking a Test Drive. This series is where I wear scent on my skin as my scent of the day for several days, including today from my own personal collection. And it's time to give you my thoughts before it goes into the vault for a full-fledged review. Today's test drive is on the house of Dsquared, and this one called Potion Royal Black. We're going back in the day with this test drive. This is an excellent flanker to the original Potion, which again is another outstanding release from the brand. Sadly, the brand of Dsquared did something that a lot of brands try to do to refresh, rebrand, whatever, and they discontinued their whole line. But I hope that this video comes in and helps some frag heads like me that are searching for these type of scents and want updated reviews on them. I know that this one is very hard to find. You will have to scour the internet. You're gonna have to be patient like I did. But definitely something that hopefully this video does help out a few frag heads out there. Let's go under the hood. Let's take a look at some stats on this one and then we'll smell it. Release date was back in 2013, so it has been a few years since the release of Potion Royal Black. Major notes to my nose. This one right here, a lot of incense. It's a rose-based fragrance, which if you didn't look at the note breakdown and you were looking at this bottle, you would never think that this would be a rose-based fragrance. And the last major note to me would be the Gaiac wood. Now let's remind me of the introduction of Royal Black. Again, it is my scent of the day, so I'm wearing it right now, but I'm gonna spray my arm here to remind me of this introduction. And the first thing I noticed with Potion Royal Black was that this scent did not smell like I thought it would, but the quality is there. I don't know what I was expecting from this fragrance, but not a rose dominant scent. And one of the better ones in the designer realm, and I don't say that lightly. You're hit immediately with a rose here, and it brings me to the use of rose in Déclaration d'un Soir by Cartier, another classy rose for men. I wouldn't really call this a classy rose for men. This one has thorns in it. There's a watery rose note here with a little bit of bite from the pimento and some brightness from the bergamot. So that's how this thing starts. The rose then turns a little jammy, a little sweet here. And it goes back to two types of roses, and it kind of draws the line of, you know, a beautiful full-bodied rose that smells like rose petals, almost watery, to a sweet jammy kind. More in the back end of this fragrance, I was getting more of the sweet jammy kind. That authentic rose petal is in and out a little bit in the introduction, but it really settles into the jamminess. But it really toes the line of being both. It's never too sweet in my eyes. It doesn't go full jammy. Of course, it goes right in the middle of it as far as authentic watery rose petals. It doesn't toe the line to all the way to authentic rose petals. Now let's get into the pimento note, because that's a wild card in this release. The pimento note is a high secondary note and should not be forgotten in this opening. It really is a beautiful spicy kick to the fragrance. It kind of reminds me of Déclaration, that has a little bit of spice. Not pimento per se, but it kind of reminds me of that type of blend, I'll say. The blonde woods start showing themselves with the darker tones of incense and leather. So now this thing starts manning up quite a bit here. Once those notes show, and then you pair that with the rose, it gave the rose some bite. It gave it dark, razor sharp, gothic, thorny rose kind of imagery to me. It went from, ooh, nice rose petals, watery a little bit, to jammy rose, and then with a little pimento note, okay, spicy rose, and then went jammy, spicy, and then with the incense and everything, just full-bodied, gothic, thorny rose. Now in the dry down of Potion Royal Black, it continues on to that dark theme of a darker rose, and it is blended very well with the incense and the leather as strong secondary notes. The rose dominance starts shuffling to the side a little bit with these darker notes, kind of sharing that spotlight. The rose was really dominant up top, but it starts sharing a little bit more here. The scent goes dry, it goes very dark, but still has that bright, I hate saying bright, but it still has that floral rose running through as the central theme of the release. The incense in here is not too smoky. It's more of a cold incense, if I have to say it. Now there is an added tobacco note here, but smells more like unlit tobacco leaf. I wouldn't say it's a strong note in this fragrance, but it does run through it. The Gaiac wood moves closer to the forefront in this release, giving it its familiar smoky appeal. The cashmere wood that gives the scent the air of smoke. The Gaiac gives like a smoky appeal, a leathery appeal, woods, and then some balsamic qualities too. So it really is, and Gaiac's a very interesting note in fragrances, and in here it really did its thing. I really appreciated the Gaiac wood in here. The opening of the scent is much better than the backbone, if I can say that, during some wearings. So again, I've only done several wearings with this scent, so again, I want to test it out in different seasons. I'm going to get different things out of this one, I feel. I do like the dry down, but I felt more excitement with the pimento and the rose combo, but that was very much short-lived in this fragrance. So you can't live and die on that little shortcoming of the pimento rose. You're really looking at the back end of this release. Some people were saying that this thing is highly synthetic. That's fine, but it's blended well personally for me. And it is a very solid designer release. And if I had to name off, top 10 roses in the designer realm for men, this would be on the short list, I think. It would be definitely a contender. It would be on my mind saying, okay, this is going to go in the list. It might drop out. It might actually be pretty high on the list. So now let's get into seasons, day, night, versatility, and performance. Let's start it off with seasons. Anything rose-based, I love it in the spring and fall, and I think this is where this falls into it. It has some darker aspects, but it's more of a tweener. Yes, you can wear it summer nights. Yes, you can wear it during the winter, of course, but those are the better seasons for it. Day or night, I feel like either way, the darkness, does well for a night out, but also I can wear this casually during the day. Versatility above average. I don't see anything super daring. I don't think this is super versatile as a scent, but I think in the cooler weather, you can wear it almost any time. Performance-wise, this is where it actually shines for a lot of people. Longevity is 8 to 10 hours on my skin. Projection was average. So first of all, this brand is not known for their longevity. Surprising longevity from the brand out of this one. For me, it's usually fairly weak. I don't get beast projection. A lot of people say this thing's a beast, both in longevity and projection. I didn't see that. I saw a lot of longevity, and I saw some very good performance as far as projection goes, but I didn't see beast. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. Maybe it's these Canadian winters that are just bringing it down a notch. We'll see. We'll see how it does in the spring. So my final thoughts on Potion Royal Black from the brand of Dsquared. I'm still heartbroken with the brand of Dsquared. Canadian brand, come on guys. You can do better. I know you're trying to rebrand, but that Hewood line, there were some really solid fragrances. So they started axing, basically they axed the whole men's line and started over. And as from what I see, their new line isn't getting much traction, at least in our community. They removed so many great scents in my opinion, including, if they're watching, Rocky Mountain Wood. That was a stunner. And the original Potion's great. And out of my nose, this one. So you got 3 very solid releases. I am late to the party on this one, but very pleased on what I got in this bottle. Many dubbed this a niche version of rose scents, the best of the brand. I don't think I'll go that far, but honestly, Royal Black surprised me on how good it was. It reminds me of some of the best of the brand, including Rocky Mountain Wood and Potion. It goes right there. And it's fair to say, in my personal opinion, I think this is part of that 3-headed monster. Now, it was only a 2-headed monster. I think this is one of the better ones from the brand. I will give it its flowers, as I think it is personally one of the better masculine designer roses that were offered in the men's aisle in the modern time. Yeah, a solid release. If you love darker rose scents, it's worth the searching out and trying to find this one, honestly. You may be paying a little bit more in retail like I did. If you take your time, you may find it, not at $300 a bottle, not worth it. I'm in the hundreds, depending on your cash flow. I would say 100, 150 in that ballpark, because that's what you're going to be getting for a full bottle. that is maybe worth it for what you get in the bottle. At the end of the day, these type of videos is to help a frag head like me. This is not going to get a bunch of hits, but I'm sure I'm going to help at least half a dozen, maybe a dozen people looking for this fragrance, looking for a review, because you can't sample it anymore. And hopefully I helped you out. But now I'm done with Potion Royal Black. Unfortunately, this thing's going in the vault for a full-fledged review, but it's time to hit us up in the comments below. What do you think of it? Looking forward to your comments if you have tried this fragrance in the past or you're looking for it. Definitely the brand of Dsquared. I don't know what they're doing, honestly. I love the ones that I named off in this video. This kind of reminds me of going back to Rocky Mountain Wood and Potion and wear those during the winter here. But at the end of the day, a greater pour fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your scent wisely. Thanks for watching.